With new leadership coming in at DC Studios, the best thing for the company honestly would be a full and total reboot of all of their characters. Instead of cherry-picking certain characters to continue going on, they really need to just wipe the slate clean. Here's a list of 10 characters that I think is going to be very key to the DCU moving forward. And you're going to want to stick to the end of the video to hear the most important critical member. This is going to be a list of 10 superheroes and teams that I think need to be in the new DCU. Now, this list is not going to include any villains that I hope show up or think should show up. That list will be coming soon. However, I think this list is going to be heroes that I believe would be able to helm their own franchises and films. Now let's get started. Starting off, Martian Manhunter, or J'onn J'onzz, should get his own film and should show up in the new DC universe as soon as possible. Martian Manhunter has been a fan favorite that's been wanted in live action, going all the way back to the George Miller Justice League that never got made, with known Cannibal Armie Hammer as Batman. They did try to introduce Martian Manhunter in the Snyder Cut, but honestly, I don't even think that should count, considering DC themselves basically refused to acknowledge that that existed. And it would be a nice way to introduce the cosmic aspect with multiple planets and different alien races besides Kryptonians. Next, I think they really need to move forward to the Booster Gold and Blue Beetle team-up movie. They were talking about this years ago when they first announced all of the future slates of DC movies, at this point going on 10 years ago. And still, nothing's been made. It was quietly shelved after it was rumored that Nathan Fillion and Alan Tudyk were going to be in the lead roles. I think this would be a perfect choice considering the age we live in where clout chasers are everywhere, and Booster Gold is basically the main one. He's a character that came back in time from the future with the sole goal of becoming famous in modern times. Another character that would do quite well in a live-action DC universe would be Green Arrow, specifically because Green Arrow has had such a proven track record with the CW shows, just like Flash and Legends of Tomorrow. Green Arrow would be a perfect addition, as Oliver Queen would be a nice counterpart to Batman, another street-level billionaire who's going out and taking vigilante justice into their own hands. Speaking of CW, another character that showed up in the CW shows would also be a great headliner for their own franchise. That would be Firestorm, the Nuclear Man. Now, Firestorm is an interesting character, who has a rich backstory who's been around for decades at this point. Firestorm is a fusion of multiple characters combining into one being, sharing a dual consciousness. Plus, the only time that we've really seen firepower like that in comic book movies was the Fantastic Four, and that was to mixed results. So, either you see Firestorm the Nuclear Man flying around, or Johnny Storm. And with villains such as Killer Frost going up against Firestorm, it'd be very interesting seeing this battle between ice and fire, especially because normally, now, in comic book movies, a lot of the times we see characters with similar power sets going against each other. I also think that it's finally time that we get a proper Green Lantern in the DCU. And I think John Stewart would be just the perfect fit. Now, we all know that John Stewart was supposed to cameo in the end of the Snyder Cut, but was changed to Martian Manhunter at the last second due to studio interference. John Stewart's probably the most recognizable Green Lantern for adults in their mid-20s to 30s, specifically because of the great work of the Justice League animated series. So you already have a built-in fan base. Why not put John Stewart Green Lantern on film and have him lead his own franchise? And eventually, if you wanted to, you could incorporate Hal Jordan, or Alan Scott, or even Guy Gardner, or Kyle Rayner. Doesn't matter. You can bring them all in at some point. Have a true Green Lantern Corps like they've been trying to do for over a decade. Now, before we move on to the back half of the list, 99% of the people who watch my YouTube channel are not subscribed. So if you enjoy not just DC content, but Marvel as well, and all sorts of nerd culture, go ahead and smash the subscribe button and ring that bell, and don't forget to leave a like on the video. Now let's keep going. Another street-level superhero that I think would make a great addition to the DC universe would be the Question. I've been talking about the Question for a couple of videos now, and I honestly believe that having a conspiracy thriller espionage film would be something that the DC universe could absolutely capitalize on. Nothing truly like this has been done in Marvel or DC in the past, so having DC take the lead in this and moving forward with different kind of genre films would honestly be something very refreshing and something that we haven't really seen since the Batman. This could be in the same vein as the Batman, and it could even see the two team up together to crack a case. Personally, I'm very excited for this. I hope that it happens, and I know myself, as well as many of you out there, have been wanting to see the Question in live action for quite a while. And speaking of detectives and Batman, I think Nightwing should also have his own franchise. Now, we have seen multiple live-action Robins between Chris O'Donnell and, I suppose, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, but honestly, Nightwing himself as a character deserves his own film. Nightwing being the first Robin and being able to move on, getting out of the shadow of the Bat and make himself his own man would be something very interesting to see. Basically overcoming living in the shadow of your own father figure for so long, figuring out how to pick yourself up and make something of yourself. I think that could resonate with a lot of people, and it could be a very positive role model for people in the future. Plus, we'd finally get to explore Bloodhaven and see all the different antics that Nightwing's been up to over the years. And that could actually lead into my next pick, the Teen Titans. We can do a modern rendition of the Teen Titans that's been going on in the DC animated universe, where they have an adult Starfire and Nightwing training the next generation of Titans. You could still bring back Cyborg, you can have Raven, Beast Boy, even Blue Beetle like you've had in Justice League vs. Titans. You can still have Nightwing being the figurehead of this team. With the Teen Titans in the DC universe, one of their key members would also be Changeling, otherwise known as Beast Boy. Beast Boy has so much popularity specifically because of Teen Titans and Teen Titans Go, and he was a key member of the Doom Patrol, which Doom Patrol has had a huge explosion of popularity due to their show. I think if you had a Doom Patrol movie, not only would that be a huge critical success, I also think it would be a huge commercial success, especially because it has its own built-in fan base due to the show's popularity, but you would also get another edgy rated R DC movie, which I know a lot of people have been clamoring for ever since the Suicide Squad. So it's kind of a win-win. And this all leads to my favorite addition that they should be able to do, that they have been talking about for quite a long time. I think one of the most important teams that they can bring into the DCU would be Justice League Dark. If they wanted to compete with Marvel at all on the supernatural level, bringing in the Dark Justice League, or Justice League Dark, would be an amazing step. Years ago, Guillermo del Toro was going to be making a Justice League Dark film that was going to have Swamp Thing, Etrigan the Demon, John Constantine, and Zatanna. Personally, I think that would be amazing, and I would love to see all of these characters in live action, especially since we do know that Keanu Reeves has signed on for a new Constantine film after all these years. If you can bring back Keanu Reeves as John Constantine, and lump him in with Justice League Dark, bringing in Etrigan the Demon, and even Swamp Thing, that would be incredible. And I know that they've been working on getting Zatanna in the DC universe for quite a long time, and I think this would be the perfect way to introduce her. Plus, if they really wanted to compete with any of the mystical, magical aspects of the MCU that they're rivaled against with Doctor Strange and other sorcerers, this would be the perfect time to do it. Especially because it was just announced that Marvel is fast-tracking Doctor Strange 3, so if they wanted to stand a chance, they need to get working on this now. But what do you think? Do you think any of these would be good additions to the DC Universe? Are there characters on here you don't think should be added? Or are there characters you think should be added instead of others? Comment down below and let me know. Don't forget to leave a like on the video. Feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel for more DC, Marvel, and nerd content.